driving, I want to process a couple things and thoughts. Okay, first of all, it's been 3 years since my weight loss surgery, and I finally hit my weight goal of 160. Okay, it took way longer than I had planned, but I reached it. And my next goal is to lose 10 more pounds, and then I'm good. I want to get down to 150. Okay. I know some of you will be like, girl, you look good, you don't need to lose any more weight. Whatever, shut up. It's about me. Okay. My goals. You have your own goals. I started out at 265, maybe more, because I stopped weighing myself out of embarrassment and discontent with my weight gain. So I've definitely lost over 100 pounds, which was my goal. In other news, I have really been in my head spiritually, I guess. I don't know how else to describe it. I've been super aware. I've always been pretty intuitive, even as a child, but now I accept it. I recognize it. I know what it is. I never questioned it before. I just knew when I know things, right? However, now I understand why I know things, and I'm getting like these really clear messages, and some of them are really frustrating messages, and they're ones that I'm really struggling with saying out loud. But the most recent one that has been weighing on my heart so much is that I've recognized a few of the soul contracts within my family that I came here to pursue. And it has now come time to follow through with those things. And some of these are reminding the other people of why we came to Earth and what the contract is, and reminding them of who they are. Now, how they're going to take it, not my problem, right? I'm just reminding myself it's not my problem. They can take it how they want. They can take it as I'm crazy, or they can just sit with it and reflect, remember why they came here. And the message is not just for me, okay? It's not just for me and my family. This is a message for the collective as a whole, for generations. And the message that keeps coming up is we sign these soul contracts in this lifetime for the purpose. I keep getting text messages, and I know because it's interrupting that it's a real powerful message, because that's how it works, right? We have come to Earth with soul contracts with particular people, okay? And these particular people have been placed in our lives to traumatize us, right? But not for just the sake of creating trauma, but a lot of us have experienced this trauma early in life, okay? So that it stays with us, so that we can overcome it and then later be the change makers, so that we can stop the abusive cycle of generational trauma that has been imposed on us. And one of those main things that has been forced on us is the division between the masculine and the feminine, between the male and the female, and a lot of physical, verbal, and mental abuse passed down from generation to generation to dumb down the female energy, okay? And this abusive, negative male energy has been so prominent in my life, my whole fucking life. And because of that, I have been raised by a bunch of very strong, powerful women. My son was raised by a bunch of strong, powerful women. I do not see him at all continuing the abuse of women through this generational trauma because I disconnected him from that. However, I am recognizing that a lot of the males in my family are continuing this male dominant hierarchy of generational trauma against women, okay? And I feel like I need to remind them that they were put here to overcome it, to stop the generational trauma. But how do I do that in a way that's not going to piss people off, right? And then also to remind the women that are still in these abusive relationships of their power and of who they are. And it cannot be by coincidence that I, as a woman in this family, have experienced and overcome this male dominant abuse, and now I'm the one that needs to remind some of the men in the family that this is not okay. And one of the things I've been struggling with the most, and I'm not sure if it's anything that needs to be actually said, is that in my family, and I'm sure along with a lot of other families, is that it's just never talked about, okay? It's not addressed. But the message is clear. The message that keeps coming to me is those things that happen in secret, that are kept secret, will continue. It doesn't matter how people feel when the truth has brought to light. They are meant to feel the way they're meant to feel to trigger the change within them. If the people that came to this earth in this lifetime are not willing to follow through with their part of the contract of being here, or their purpose of doing the tough work to stop and change the generational trauma and to change the forced negative views and abuse towards women, that their children will have the burden of following through with that contract. And it'll just keep going and going and going. Okay, so at some point, someone in every family, okay, this is not just mine, someone, one person in every little home needs to speak up, needs to be the change maker, needs to be the one that's okay being uncomfortable and making everyone else feel uncomfortable, because it is fucking uncomfortable to be verbally, mentally, and physically abused. It's fucking uncomfortable for the person that's experiencing the abuse. It's uncomfortable for the children experiencing the abuse. It's already fucking uncomfortable. So it's okay to make the person or the people that are exhibiting these aggressive behaviors to finally be uncomfortable. And if that uncomfort leads to change, it's worth it. It is so worth the uncomfort to get to a place of peace with both masculine and feminine, and for everyone to just talk about it, bring it out into the open. Now, I don't just want to focus on male and female here, okay, because the masculine and feminine words were created in the 50s to try to describe and put us in boxes, okay? So those things don't even exist really. But what we have grown to call masculine energy is aggressiveness, right? And what we have been taught to call feminine energy is sensitivity. But we all have this energy within us. And within my family, and I'm sure several other families, this masculine energy has manifested itself within some of the women in my family, and they have become the abusers as well. So it's not just about the man recognizing what he's doing wrong. It's about the collective. It's about all of us standing up for the children and doing the hard work so they don't have to do the hard work in the future. How do I bring that up, right? I feel like in some cases, yes, there's definitely some words that need to be said because some people just don't get hints and they don't understand the energy. In other cases, it needs to be more of education. And in some, I just need to create the atmosphere of love and respect for people. And hope and send love and hope that that does enough. But in some really lower energy situations, that may not be enough. Okay. And I'm coming from a place of someone that not only went through this experience as a child, but then worked alongside child welfare and became a mandated reporter and then a family preservation specialist to help connect abused families to resources, okay? And I've learned throughout that is that sometimes it's not the family members or the friends that are going to make the difference. Sometimes it's the justice system. Sometimes it's a fucking court-ordered anger management class or a court-ordered parenting class or a court-ordered child removal, whatever it is. The harder that individuals resist to do the hard work within themselves, the tougher the restrictions will be imposed upon the individuals because they're not getting it, right? The more they resist, the more the universe is just going to be like, okay, that didn't work. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, you got to go to jail? You know, like, what the fuck? You know? No, those are extreme cases, but in my experience, they are really common, okay? And they're happening in many families, regardless of social status, regardless of financial status, regardless of gender. From the richest to the poorest person, the state will eventually be involved, okay? If you don't do the work. Do the work, guys. Do the fucking work. Let's get past this. I would love to see our children and our grandchildren and our future generation of trauma be just gone. And then maybe just to be stories and tales of the past, like scary stories of the past that we've overcome, ending in peaceful resolutions. So that's the message I've been getting, and I don't know what to do with it. I especially don't know how to address it within my own family circle or friend circle. I don't know what to do. And so then I just tune out. I try to do the best I can do in my mind and in my surroundings to create a loving, childlike curiosity and environment for people to maybe remember who they are that way.